Spain to visit the Prado Museum. The Prado Museum is home to one of the world's finest collections of European art. The museum itself has 3 floors and 4 entrances. The exhibitions in this museum are categorized by the nationality of the painters. At this moment, there are just under 1,000 pieces of art permanently on display, in addition to several temporary exhibitions. Today we will be focusing on the work of Dutch and Flemish painters, and more specifically that of Hieronymus Bosch. Rebecca will be your tour guide throughout this presentation. Enjoy!
Welcome to the Prado Museum in Madrid. It is home to some of the most magnificent paintings in the world. We have artwork by Spanish, Flemish, Dutch, Italian, French, German, and British artists. But for now we are going to move on to room 56A, to the Flemish and Dutch paintings. Keep close and follow me. The Garden of Earthly Delights was painted by Hieronymus Bosch in 1505. Bosch was born in 1450 in the Netherlands as Hieronymus Antonissen van Aken. Art runs through his veins as his father and grandfather, as well as 3 of his uncles, were painters. Though little has been documented about his artistic career, it is known that Bosch began his career painting for his religious confraternity, the Brotherhood of Our Lady, and by designing a stained glass window for a cathedral in town. In 1504, Philip the Fair, King of Castile, commissioned Hieronymus Bosch for a large altarpiece of the Last Judgment, which currently resides at the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna. The painting we will be viewing today is Bosch's most famous piece, the Garden of Earthly Delights. Dating from between 1490 and 1510, the painting first hung in Brussels in the palace of Hendrik III, and it is assumed that he commissioned the painting, showing that Bosch painted not only for religious institutions, but for secular patrons as well. From Brussels, the Garden of Earthly Delights was acquired at the auction of Prior Don Fernando, the illegitimate son of the Duke of Alba, in 1593. It was then taken to the historical home of the King of Spain, El Escorial. The Patrimonio Nacional, Spain's National Heritage Board, placed Bosch's painting here in the museum in 1939. Here we are at the painting of the hour, Hieronymus Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights. At first glance, you can see that the painting is divided into 3 sections or panels. This type of painting is known as a triptych, with the 2 side panels acting like hinged doors, similar to a modern-day trifold poster. Bosch painted 8 triptychs in his career, all focusing on religious material. The 3 panels each display a different realm of the world, with the left panel showing paradise and the Garden of Eden. In the lower part, you can see the creation of Eve and Christ, bringing her to Adam, while the upper part includes the fountain of life. Moving to the central panel, we can see man and Bosch's interpretation of earthly life. Men and women, all naked, sit eating, conversing, and in the background of the painting, gallivanting around on horseback and swimming. The third and rightmost panel portrays hell and chaos, juxtaposed with the peacefulness of the Garden of Eden on the opposite wing. The bird-like creature in the lower right corner, shown eating and excreting humans, with a fiery burning city in the background, both exemplify the horrors of hell. The central panel is where the painting gets its name from, and therefore is this section studied and analyzed most thoroughly by art historians. In his interpretation of life on earth, Bosch creates a garden of delights that allude to sins. The fruits being fed to humans refer to gluttony, while the nakedness of everyone in the garden and the couples placed throughout the painting illustrate lust. Lust, in fact, seems to be the sin emphasized most by Bosch in the painting, focusing the viewer's eyes on the circle of men riding naked on horseback around the pool of women. Riding and plucking fruit during this time were euphemisms for a sexual act. In creating this garden filled with the pleasures of earthly life, Bosch aimed to send a message on both the sinful nature of society and humanity at the time, as well as showing happiness as a fragile and fleeting thing. The flowers and fruit placed throughout the garden symbolize this ephemerality and perhaps act as a warning of the dangers of devoting oneself to temporary things. Across the Hell panel, you can see various portrayals of the 7 deadly sins and their apparent punishments. Gluttony is being made to throw up in punishment for its overindulgence. The vain woman is being forced to stare at her reflection for the rest of eternity, and the greedy man is being forced to release gold coins into the pit. There is Satan devouring the sinners from atop a throne, while musical instruments are torturing other sinners, as in this time period musical instruments could represent lust. The fort-like and egg-shaped man, seen in the center of the panel, is said to be a self-portrait of the artist himself. It is interesting to note that Bosch placed himself in the Hell panel, rather than the center earthly realm. It is said that at the time, Bosch believed he was living during the apocalypse and experiencing the last days, and perhaps he believed that his life spent on Earth would land him in hell in the afterlife. The doors offer a view of the creation of Earth on the third day. The subdued colors contrast with the vivid colors of the inner panels. God is depicted in the left-hand corner with a book. The inscription next to him reads, "For he spake and it was done, he commanded and it stood fast." By placing the three panels in order from paradise to mankind to hell, Bosch compares God's intentions for mankind, the left panel, to the reality of mankind that he views in the world around him. As a Christian humanist in the time of the Renaissance, Bosch would most likely have agreed with Erasmus's belief that the corruption and immorality of society were a result of people forgetting the simple teachings of the Gospels. His painting of the Garden of Earthly Delights could be his representation of the trend he saw in Renaissance society towards sin and corruption, and may have used the panel of hell as a warning of what may be to come if the trend continued. As Renaissance society began focusing more on secular ideas and values, devout Christians became worried that God would be angered by the artistic shift away from religious material. In Florence, for example, Savonarola reacted by organizing a public burning of Renaissance art and literature. For Bosch, painting the Garden of Earthly Delights could have been his questioning of how God would react to the sin gracing humanity, though he had no idea of God's true reaction. In the Hell panel, there is a naked butt shown with the musical score written across it. Recently, a music student at Oklahoma Christian University decided to transcribe the score and discovered a tune that Bosch placed there when painting. Since then, others have made their own arrangements of the tune as what is being called the 600-year-old butt song from hell.
We would like to thank our viewers for watching the special presentation on the artwork of Hieronymus Bosch. This presentation was brought to you in part by the Museo Nacional del Prado, the National Gallery of Art, BBC News, the Art Bulletin, Hans Beltag's Hieronymus Bosch, The Garden of Earthly Delights, hieronymusbosch.org, Museo Nacional del Prado pamphlet, and the DK Eyewitness Travel Guide for Spain. Thanks for watching.